The Chicago White Sox had an off day on Monday. They are 25-27, still chasing the Cleveland Guardians and Minnesota Twins in the AL Central. Tuesday night, the White Sox kick off a 6-game homestand, 3 with the Dodgers and 3 with the Rangers. Lots of hope for these guys at the big league level that they can get something going, but there's a lot of hope for the guys in the White Sox minor league system. We are going to be down on the farm today.
You are Locked On White Sox, your daily Chicago White Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, Sox fans, welcome to Locked On White Sox. Thank you for making Locked On White Sox your first listen each and every day. We're free and available on all platforms. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Sox. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search Locked On White Sox. Today's episode is brought to you by Rock Auto. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. Visit rockauto.com and tell them Locked On sent you. Hey, I'm your host, Nick Morawski, a lifelong diehard Chicago White Sox fan, recording this podcast just blocks from the ballpark in beautiful Bridgeport. You can find me on Twitter at Nick_GGTB. I really appreciate you letting me steal some of your time to talk White Sox. Locked On White Sox is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. With the White Sox having an off day, I wanted to get some perspective on what's going on in the minor leagues. Very excited to be joined by White Sox minor leagues expert and baseball writer for White Sox Daily, Dan Victor. Thank you so much, buddy, for joining the program.
Thanks, Nick. Happy to be here. Always like to talk about our guys down on the farm.
Yeah, you're the guy. Not where our big league club needed to be at all early June. We had bigger expectations for this team. They're 25-27, third place in the Central. But there's been some hope from guys that we didn't expect production from. Guys like Danny Mendick, guys like Jake Burger. Just, I guess, briefly before we get into the farm system, your thoughts so far on this White Sox team?
A lot of the play that I've seen has been pretty lifeless. They don't seem to have any fire. They had that nice winning streak. It seems like ages ago now, where they won 6 in a row, I believe. And it looked like they were going to start turning things around. But, they won 6 in a row largely with no offense. It was a lot of good pitching performances without a lot of firepower. And there was one thing that I think 99% of us thought was that this White Sox team was built to score a lot of runs, and we definitely have not seen that so far.
Yeah, the old adage, ball goes far, team goes far. We thought we were going to get a ton of home runs from Robert, and Eloy obviously has been hurt. Abreu hasn't been the typical Abreu we'd like, although it's still kind of early. Nothing from Grandal. Moncada has been, in and out of the lineup and hasn't been giving us much. So when we look at a series like the Sox just had, this Tampa series where they won 2 of 3, and guys like Jake Burger and Danny Mendick stepped up, it's been awesome to see. The Jake Burger story is such a wonderful feel-good story. I know you followed him for a while, I'm sure. Thoughts on what Jake Burger is doing right now, and can this be sustained at the big league level?
I think that I think it was Hostetler that said it best when he said that he felt like Jake Burger could fall out of bed and hit, and I really think that is the case with Mr. Burger. I think we're seeing the expected Jake Burger. We're just seeing it later because of the way his development was derailed by the injuries. And it couldn't happen to a nicer kid, somebody you would cheer more for, than Jake Burger. So this is fantastic to see, and I hope it continues.
We want to see more Jake Burger now, right? It's like whenever there has been a hot bat, it's like, how do you get that hot bat in the lineup? And it was Andrew Vaughn for a while, and now finally he's finding that place in the top of the lineup. How do you keep Jake Berger in the lineup? Is there an opportunity? You think he can play second base?
I think him playing second base would be pretty optimistic. I'm not saying that he's not capable of playing second base, but I mean, if you have a team that you think is a World Series contender, do you really want to experiment with a guy at second base that hasn't played it consistently? I don't think this is the most opportune time to try something like that.
Yeah, that is a wonderful point, and you see that though with several guys this 2022 season. The way Sheets has been used and Vaughn has been used, and without these injuries, I just don't think you would get to see what Jake Berger can be, which would be unfortunate. And I'm wondering, when Moncada gets fully healthy, Anderson's back. Maybe Danny Mendick moves to second. Can you see Danny Mendick being a full-time second baseman for the White Sox?
I'm not sure. I think of Danny Mendick more as a utility infielder, backup shortstop than a full time full time starter on a team that you expect to compete for a World Series. I mean, every World Series contender has some spot of weakness, but I don't know. I really can't envision him as the full time starter at second base.
Yeah, he's been making the most of his opportunities. He's been giving us something offensively as of late, which has been more than what Harrison or Garcia has been doing. And I think Sox fans, it's like this isn't the guy we thought we were going to get production from, but he's the guy we are getting production from. So let's keep him in the lineup. And he was leading off the other day. The Jake Berger stuff is just great. And, I like the way he plays third base too. He's got a cannon for an arm. It's an interesting situation. What's going to happen? A lot of people talk about maybe Berger third and Moncada second. What does it do to a guy like Moncada and what you've seen over the years to go from Moncada was second base, then he was third. Do you bring him back to second base? Is that a possibility?
Well, when they moved him over to third, I didn't really think that that was the greatest plan in the world because I thought that it was going to be tough for him to transition to third and, concentrate on learning a new position at the big league level and also hitting while he was trying to make the adjustment to the other side of the diamond. And, he came through with flying colors that first year. He looked fantastic. Now he's not hitting and, it's unfortunate. But I don't know that they want to move him to second base. He's been a pretty good defender, at third.
Yeah, he really has been a great defender. I'm surprised he wasn't seriously involved in the Gold Glove conversation last year. It's just a matter of how do you keep Berger's bat around. A guy that we've seen some production from, Davis Martin. He started a couple games recently. Pitched, over a little over 10 innings in two starts, around 5 earned runs. I've been pleasantly surprised in what I've seen. Is he a guy that you think is going to get the consistent call when the Sox need a spot start?
I can see him getting the call and shuttling back and forth, kind of filling the Jimmy Lambert role that he has done in the past. And before that, Ronaldo Lopez had that kind of a back and forth to Charlotte thing going on. Davis Martin was a very highly thought of draftee in his draft class, and the Sox were said to have gotten a really good deal where they got him. And then his first 2 years in the minors, he was kind of a Jekyll and Hyde. He was either really, really good or really, really bad. There was no in between with him. When he was feeling it, it's all about confidence with him. When he was feeling it, his velo was better, and he would get first pitch strikes, and he would stay ahead of hitters, and he could dominate the game. When he was behind in the count. He was, taking a little bit off, trying to get me over strike, and he was getting tattooed. If you go and look at his box scores from his, look at his game logs from his draft year and his first year at Winston-Salem, and you won't see a lot of, 6 innings, 4 runs. You'll see 2 innings, 7 runs, and then you'll see, 6 innings, 1 run. It was one or the other. He was very bipolar as far as pitching lines were concerned.
Yeah, he had his most recent start, gave up 4 innings, I believe, in the first, and then settled down. He's been a pleasant surprise, and I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more of Davis Martin. I want to talk to you about a few guys that maybe the White Sox should be taking a closer look at. We're going to get to that more in a moment. Hey, this episode is brought to you by Rock Auto. With the ever-increasing numbers of makes and models, it's now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts you need. Why endure pointless or seemingly intimidating questioning and wait while the person behind the counter orders the parts on their computer, choosing the only brand their warehouse happens to carry? You have computers with access to rockauto.com at home and in your pocket. Save time and money when using Rock Auto. Rock Auto is a family business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years. Go explore their easy-to-use website today to find the solution to your auto parts needs. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck. Right, Locked On in their How Did You Hear About Us box so they know we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. rockauto.com. Hey, we have an important favor to ask you. We've put together a survey so we can learn more about listeners like you and make your favorite Locked On podcasts even better. This is your opportunity to tell us what you like and don't like about Locked On podcasts. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey right now to get started. It won't take very long, and everyone that completes a survey can qualify for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Ticketmaster gift cards. To take our audience survey, go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey. Really appreciate your help with that. So Dan, there's so many different names that Sox fans have thrown around, especially when this team was struggling. Who can be brought up maybe to give some life to this team? And one of the names I've heard so much about is Yolbert Sanchez. Is that a guy that the Sox that we could maybe see at the big league level this season?
I think that's definitely in the cards for him to get a shot this year. He's 25 years old. They spent a fair amount of money on him as an international free agent. It was over $2 million. So they had high hopes for him when they got him. But, with him, I don't think there's a ton of upside. He's a good defender, and he has good bat-to-ball skills. He doesn't strike out very often. But he's playing in Charlotte. Charlotte is a very good hitter's environment. He's got 1 home run in his time at Charlotte. I don't think he's going to put up a lot of offense. He's going to make contact. He might work some good at bats, which is something that, we'd like to see this team do more of. Work pitchers in the deeper counts, put some stress on them. But he's not going to be the kind of guy who's going to light up the scoreboard. He's not going to make the scoreboard explode very often.
Yeah, and that's what fans, I think, are really they're looking for. They're looking for a power hitting second baseman, something that maybe they were hoping the front office was going to go after in the offseason. Second base was never really addressed, and here we are with this carousel of Harrison or Garcia. Maybe now it's Mendick for a little bit. What about guys like Sosa or Romy Gonzalez? Do you see them coming up to the big league club at all this year?
I really was hoping that Romy would break camp with the team. He got down to Charlotte and he struggled a bit, and he was dealing with a nagging injury. I don't think we've seen the best that he has to offer this year, stat-wise. But talk about a kid. This kid has a work ethic like there is no other. His body is shredded. He is the workout fanatic. He keeps keeps his nose to the grindstone and works just nonstop hard. Very, very athletic kid. He played every single defensive position except for pitcher and catcher in the minors, and he played them all well. He can play shortstop, he can play center field. He's a tremendous athlete. He's got some swing and miss, but he also has massive raw power. I'd like to see him get another shot at some point in time.
And a guy like Sosa, could we see him maybe get a chance?
Sosa is having a huge breakout year at Birmingham. He's already got his career high for home runs in the season with 11. He tied that. That was also last year when he had previously said it. He's hitting 342. He has not had any cold streak whatsoever. And I had talked to his manager at AA, Justin Jerschley, who is a great managerial candidate, might I add. I believe he's the youngest manager in the minor leagues. He's hardly older than some of his players. But he was telling me that Lenyn is not – he's made some dramatic strides with his plate approach. Before Lenyn always had good bat-to-ball skills, but he liked to swing. Are you with me, Nick?
Oh yeah, I think I missed you on bat ball skills. Like to swing.
Oh, I just saw that the screen did something funky. I thought we had lost connection. I'm sorry. Yeah, he likes to swing the bat, and he would find himself in unfavorable hitters counts, and he would take a pitcher's pitch, and he would make contact with it, but it wasn't something that he could do anything with. Now he's getting ahead in the count, getting ahead of the pitcher, forcing them to come to him, and he's looking for that cookie that he can drive, and it's really it's paid dividends. He's also not missing in the zone when he's swinging in the zone. He's making contact, so he's made great strides, and he looks fantastic.
That has been something that I think a lot of folks have pointed out with some of our hitters at the big league level is, missing on middle pitches, missing on pitches that are in the zone that they should be driving, and it's just not happening. So that is great to hear. Micker Adolfo, a lot of folks high on this guy to maybe break camp, especially when some injuries were happening here and there. Why haven't we seen Micker Adolfo in a White Sox uniform, in the big league level? And is it a possibility this season?
I'd like to think it's a possibility. Micker is completely chiseled. The kid is jacked. Another one, a workout fanatic, takes very good care of his body. He has an 80 grade throwing arm from right field. I've seen him, from the right field corner, put a laser on a one hop or even on the fly to third base. And he has incredible, massive raw power. I saw him drive a ball 480 feet in Charlotte last year, toward the end of the season. And it's pretty routine for him to hit tape measure shots. The caveat with him has always been the injuries have affected his development. He was a 16-year-old high profile international free agent signing. He was their first, I believe he was the Sox first $1 million international free agent signing. He dealt with a lot of injuries early on. And because of all those injuries, he missed a lot of repetitions and didn't always get to see, the breaking balls and that's usually the last thing that these hitters learn is, everybody can hit a fastball in the minor leagues. It's a question of, recognizing spin and being able to lay off the ones that you can't do damage to, and wait for the one that you can hunt and destroy. And with Micker, all of those injuries have played a toll in him getting the reps needed to get as good as he can be. But at his best, he's really fun to watch because the way he can drive a ball 500 feet. But I'd like to see him get a shot for sure.
Yeah. In a moment, I want to talk to you about just what maybe the White Sox do at the trade deadline, what players, if any, could be on the move from the current roster or maybe the farm system. More on that in a moment. Don't you love a chewy, chocolatey brownie? What about a caramel brownie with caramel swirled on top? What if I told you that you can have all that chewy, chocolatey deliciousness plus 17 grams of protein? You're in luck because caramel brownie bars are available at built.com right now. And you got to act fast because they are a fan favorite. Forget about dessert. These are better than dessert. 130 calories, 17 grams of protein, and only 4 grams of sugar. I would replace a regular brownie with Built's caramel brownie in a heartbeat. The best part, caramel brownie bars are covered in 100% real chocolate. With Built, you don't have to sacrifice tasty for healthy. You can have both. And all of Built's bars are made from collagen protein, which your body absorbs more efficiently and provides tons of health benefits. With Built, tasty is the new healthy. Go to built.com to get your box of caramel brownie bars now. Go to built.com, use promo code LOCKED15 and get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com. So Dan, we're hoping that the Sox are in contention. We're hoping that they not only overtake the Twins, but they start getting maybe winning 8 out of 10. Maybe 11 out of 13 if that's possible. There's some consistency. Guys start hitting their potential, and it's about we're buyers at the trade deadline. What kind of players, what kind of assets do the White Sox have? Who do you think they could dangle to other teams to get a return?
I think the biggest assets we currently have on the farm would probably be Lenyn Sosa, Jose Rodriguez, Colson Montgomery, Sean Burke. I think that would be your big four of assets. We hear fans all the time saying, "Well, why don't we?" For years, it was, "Why don't we just send Zach Collins somewhere?" Well, someone has to covet the other guy. You can't just say he was a first round pick, therefore he is worth something. But I think Sean Burke, Lenny Sosa, Popeye Rodriguez, and Colson Montgomery have all played extremely well and have definitely shown that they have trade value.
Um, just your opinion. Do you think any of those guys do get moved?
Like you were saying, we'd have to make a lot of assumptions on what the team is going to be looking like record wise at the trade deadline. I'm such a minor league fanatic, and I get used to our guys and seeing our guys, and I want to see them develop and play for our team. So it's hard for me to say that I'd like to see somebody get moved, but as with everything, if the price is right, I'm certainly down for a trade to see a World Series flag, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's a great answer. We so flippantly sometimes say just like trade this guy, trade that guy, remove this guy, and you want to also be able to build up this homegrown talent and bring them to the major league level. However, if some of these guys can bring back a World Series banner, what do you do? And I think time will tell as the summer rolls on. A guy like Gavin Sheets, he's kind of you love him, you hate him. I hate to say the word hate, but there's a lot of anger, I think, from Sox fans because he's not mashing. He's this lefty guy that can be a power hitter. We saw glimpses of it last season, and there's a lot of frustration with him. He seems to be sometimes a man without a position, a little bit of right field, DH, first base. What do you make of Gavin Sheets? Is he a guy that maybe could be shipped off from the major league level if there was an interest?
I certainly, I think he has worth. I was a big fan of his when he came through the system. He's a very strong kid, and for being as big as he is, he has an excellent plate approach. He takes pitches. He looks for something he could drive. He doesn't chase often. And when he came into the system, he was more focused on making good contact, and then eventually, as he got through the higher levels, then he started driving the ball with more authority. He's got a frame built for power, and his dad was a power hitter. But I think he's been, somewhat miscast as a right fielder, and that's not always conducive to success. These guys hitting a baseball is very hard. It's probably the hardest thing to do in professional sports. Making the round ball, round bat, 90 miles an hour with movement, and at 100 miles an hour from guys like Aroldis Chapman. And now you're going to ask this guy to do this on a nightly basis, but he's also going to be moved to a position that he's less familiar with.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's more complicated than we make it out to be, for sure. Again, time will kind of tell on where that guy ends up by the end of the season. I mean, with guys getting healthy and guys staying hot like Berger, he just might not be getting the at bats. We can't afford it anymore if he's not able to produce. Last question for you, Dan. Come September, who will be the starting second baseman for our Chicago White Sox?
I would like to see Lenyn Sosa get a shot. I think of him more as a shortstop, but we have, Tim Anderson there. But if Lenyn keeps hitting the ball like he's hitting the ball at Birmingham right now, I would love to see what he could do in the big leagues. Now, with Sosa, as he's gone through every level, he's always had an adjustment phase required before he figures things out. And I don't know that, if we're trying for a championship or we're trying for a playoff push, I don't know that he's the guy you want to promote and be prepared to let him, struggle and figure things out, because, it's going to be crucial. It's going to be crucial in September when they're making that push. But I sure do like what I've seen from him this year, and I would love to see him get a shot. He's 22 years old. He's moved rapidly through the system, and he just keeps getting better and better.
Dan, I can't thank you enough for your insight, for your passion, and for your time. Please let us know where we can find all of your great stuff that you do.
I do some writing for White Sox Daily, and you can follow me Twitter at slydano.com. Slydano70. I'm sorry. I apologize. Slydano70 at Twitter.
That's fine. Dan, thank you so much. I hope we can catch up later on throughout this season. Really appreciate your time.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Folks, thank you so much for making this podcast part of your daily routine. You can find the Locked On White Sox podcast absolutely everywhere you find your podcasts. We are on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Sox. You can find me at Nick_GGTB. Thanks for making Locked On White Sox your first listen. Now make your second listen Locked On MLB. Paul Francis Sullivan, just call him Sully, brings you his unique perspective on the major leagues past and present. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Coming up on the next episode, I'll recap Game 1 of the Dodgers series. Hopefully it's a White Sox winner and a quality start for Kopech. Appreciate you making time for the Locked On White Sox podcast. I'm Nick Morawski. Until next time, go Sox.